I am thrilled to be joined by my friend Hoggie to talk about basketball and his love of the game. Hoggie, thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.
First question for you. When did you fall in love with basketball?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I always liked playing sports growing up, and I always played a bit of basketball here and there. Growing up in boarding school, it was like you just join the guys, whatever's being played, soccer, basketball. My first was love was actually soccer. But probably around grade 9 or 10, my roommate was like, he was a tall guy, and he was like, "Oh, you got to play basketball. You're fast, and you got some handles, so you should join the team." So it wasn't really until grade 10 that I actually started taking it seriously, and that's probably about the time when I started falling in love with it. Grade 9, 10.
You mentioned the boarding school casually, but this is a big part of your story. So, where was your boarding school? And in particular, what country?
Yeah, so actually, I was in two boarding schools. So the first was in Ivory Coast, West Africa. It was Ivory Coast Academy or International Christian Academy, and that was in Bouake. And then the other boarding school was Black Forest Academy in Germany. But for the Ivory Coast Academy, I was there from roughly grade 2 to grade 8, and then moved to Germany because my parents were missionaries, and we moved to Hungary. But then I went to boarding school in Germany, and funny enough, one of my friends from Africa at that school, his parents moved to Morocco, and so he started coming to the school in Germany as well. So that's the friend that actually really got me into basketball. Him and another guy, Dan and JP, were two of my buddies that got me into basketball.
Let's dig into this a little bit more, Hoagie. What was it like playing high school basketball in Africa and Germany? And in particular, I think you have a little bit of experience playing high school basketball here in Canada. Basically, what were those experiences playing high school basketball in those other countries?
Actually, in Africa, I didn't really play at high school because I finished at grade 8, and then that's when I moved up to Germany to that school. So when I was playing, it was just more pickup. But as I said, my first love was soccer. But whenever the guys got together, it's like, hey, let's play soccer, let's play basketball. So it was kind of, I'll play any sport, let's just do it. But then when I moved to Germany, we played actually against some of the German teams in our local area. But actually, we played against the Dodds, which is the American bases that were situated over there.
Have you had a chance to go to any professional basketball games in Europe?
I didn't, but I was actually, it was funny that one of the guys, one of the teachers at the school I went to, he was doing missions work a little bit in France. So where the school was located was basically 20 minutes from the French and Swiss borders, but located in Germany. So he actually took myself and a few of my friends over into France to play against some of the guys there, and some of them were actually in some of the French leagues and stuff. So they had some pretty good skilled players. So we were high schoolers playing, men, and so it was a fun experience. We did okay.
I have a tricky question for you here. We've had the pleasure of going to a bunch of amazing basketball games together. You even joined me for some media opportunities in Toronto. So, not counting any basketball games that you and I have been to, what are some of your favorite basketball memories? It could be playing in games, it could be going to a game.
I mean, obviously, all the times that I went with you, those were great times, great experiences, especially behind the scenes. But a really neat one was we had a an opportunity where we went to a Raptors game, and I'm thinking they were playing, maybe I think it was actually the Phoenix Suns back with Steve Nash, Amar'e, Stoudemire, Shawn, Marion. A lot of the churches in the area were able to get tickets sort of as a youth group night. So there, I think there were about over 500 youth. But after the game, we are actually allowed to go on the court, a few people, and actually play. So I went on the court, and we did some 5-on-5 for about 10 minutes or so. and I knocked down 3 for 4 from the 3 point on the NBA 3 point. So that was kind of cool. And then in the background, you have Mo Peterson doing an interview and stuff. So that was a really neat experience.
We're both in our 40s now. What is it about basketball that still keeps your attention?
Currently, I play Monday nights. I run a basketball outreach program at my church. So one, there's the physicality, like keeping in shape. Uh, Number two is as I get older, my speed and other things get less. I'm not as fast as I used to be, especially when I'm playing like 18-year-olds and such. They got some legs. Um, but becoming more cerebral about the game. I don't have a lot of time to practice just with kids and family obligations, but actually watching people play and learning what they're good at, their deficiencies, and then trying to shut them down on defense or exploit them on offense. So it becomes much more of a cerebral game, which I wish I would have spent a bit more time when I was younger working on. But as you get older, you kind of have to play to your strengths and sort of take away the strengths of the others, or at least or look to exploit the deficiencies or weaknesses of other players. So there's that, but also one of the biggest joys is being able to run this outreach is actually talking with the guys. Being in a team atmosphere has always been something that's fun. Um, Laughing, having fun, chatting, encouraging each other. But just ministering to these guys, because most of these guys that come out are not Christians. So being able to share the gospel, repent from your sins, give your life to Christ, that sort of stuff, is just a wonderful opportunity for me to do that.
I want to dig into this a little bit more here. I have a couple questions for you. First of all, you mentioned some of these guys are 18, 19 years old. Hoagie, that's half of our age. So there's a big age gap there. What are some ways that basketball helps you bridge that age gap with them?
Yeah, it's a common love for the sport. So just playing the game, and having the years of experience is I can just speak and teach the game too, because I love the game. I love learning about the game, studying the game, um, and imparting some knowledge on people, a younger generation, be it defensive stances, help defense, or it seems that the game nowadays is either drive or shoot threes. There's no mid-range game. There's no exploiting that sort of where you're able to take that mid-range game, or even um, where you get guys and it's just dribble, 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 and it's all wasted energy versus being very aggressive and going right at someone instead of just dribbling like say James Harden or someone like that. Be more like Mike and just go right at it. Don't waste time and space and effort. Just attack. So those sorts of things, just being able to do that, but then also encourage them, and then um, with the young guys, just asking life. What are some of the things you're struggling with? What are some of the things that are going great? I usually pray at the beginning, but then I in talking with guys, I've been able to hand out Bibles, pray with guys, encourage them in life, and I've had guys come up and ask questions, not related to basketball, but also related to basketball. And it's just been a great opportunity to do that.
What does a typical Monday evening basketball run look like? What time does it start? What is the routine? Walk me through what that Monday night looks like for you.
Typically, I put my kids to bed. Then I head out to the gym, actually to the church. So we have a gym there, open that up. So usually I'm heading over there by 7 o'clock and then setting out chairs, pulling out a couple of basketballs, a scoreboard. And then I turn on the lights, open up the doors so the guys can come in. So usually I try to have the gym open by 7:20 so they can practice, shoot around, that sort of stuff. Then usually guys will come in between 7:20 and 7:40. I usually like to get started earlier, but it seems that with jobs and family, most guys are coming out around 7:40. So that's usually we'll pick teams. So we'll get three teams picked and we sort of do winner stays. And we basically run till 9 o'clock. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
When do a lot of these conversations happen? Is it shooting around before the game start? Is it on the sidelines? Is it a mixture of both?
The chats happen all the time. So usually guys come in, greet each other, say, "Hey, how was your week?" Uh, and then whenever there's new guys that come in, I like to meet them, ask their names, get a little bit of information, like what do you do? Are you in school? Are you working? Family, that sort of stuff. Just build so I know a little bit about them, so I can sort of, if they come again, or if they're regulars, then I can, have show that I'm interested in them and actually care about them and their lives. And Even while the game's going on, chat with the guys. But often it's after the games, where I'll have some pretty good discussions.
Basketball communication question for you, kind of linking it together. I find that style of play of basketball can change every couple of years. There's different improvements, different problems creeping in the game. I feel the language of basketball is the same. I feel in our 40s, the way we talk to teenagers or 20-year-olds, hey, cut, uh, different vocabulary or different communication styles are always the same. Do you find that same thing when you're running that Monday night basketball league?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and maybe it's just because of coaching or just because kids learn and younger generation just learn the terminology. Um, I think it pretty much has stayed the same. Maybe there might be a couple of nuances here and there. Like maybe Americans might use if I were to go to the States and play, they might use a few different things versus up in Canada. Um, but yeah, it's relatively the same. One thing that's interesting though is teams do well when they communicate. And so on this past Monday night, there was one team, and they're all a bunch of young guys, and they're all trying to do one-on-one and stuff. And they won a few games, but um, my team won the most that night. And I'm not saying that that was me or anything, but one of the things that our team did was hustle and communication. We were talking for screens, all that sort of stuff. And so it was interesting because I was talking to one of the guys. I said, don't be disappointed because he was turning the ball over. He was getting double teamed. um, Basically, I set a couple of screens on him. No one called the screens, which freed up the guy guarding him to knock down a 3 pointer and an easy layup. And then other times where he was down on the post and he's a really good post player, but no one's telling him that a double's coming. And so I would swing around off my guy and pick it, or when he would spin, I would step over weak side help and just be in the lane there so that he's kind of flustered. Um, and so it was quite the difference between a young team that had much better physical stamina and physicality and much better one-on-one skills, but when it actually came to the communication of things, I think that's one of the reasons they lost is they weren't communicating, they weren't talking. So that was an interesting thing to observe.
You're in your 40s now. When you're thinking about life in your 50s, what's basketball going to be like? Are you running the Monday Night League still? Are you coaching one or a couple of your kids? What kind of role do you think and what kind of role do you hope basketball has for you in your 50s?
Lord willing, if I'm physically able, I would love to keep running the basketball program, or at least have someone sort of building up someone to take over for me, because I do know that I won't be able to do this forever, even though I love it. I'll still do my best, but whether or not I can keep up with the young guys, that's another story. So yeah, Lord willing, if I'm healthy, love to run the Monday night runs. However, I know that my kids are growing up, and I would love to impart some of my love of basketball and sports in general to them. So I have two daughters and a son, and so just I'll be starting. They're fairly young, but I'll be starting, especially this summer, teaching them just dribbling the basketball. I already have them in soccer, so they're enjoying that. But yeah, just hitting up the basics. But hopefully they'll get better and surpass me, or at least Jacob. Hopefully he'll surpass me in my skills and abilities.
Hoagie, thank you for sharing why basketball is so special to you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Ryan.